The Greatest Gathering was the premier event in 2025 in the Railway 200 celebrations. Now, with the ever-growing list of stock available in TradeSim World, I've set out to do my own Greatest Gathering at Derby, Litchurch Lane in the game. More of that in a moment, but first, over to Nottingham. So, a fairly straightforward run to begin with from Nottingham to Derby. But then there's exciting things going on in Derby, which we'll talk about, and all will be explained shortly. So let's get the train set up to begin with. Master key on. Never knew about that AWS button there on the left, but recently discovered that's a thing. I think everything is normal, so let's get some sort of dimmers on. We'll get our brakes off, and then let's get underway. So it's only 30 miles to Derby, so not too very far to go. Here is the magnificent Nottingham station. You get a good view of it actually as you leave. Did we put any lights on? I can't remember. So the Greatest Gathering. Well, what a show it was. I mean, I didn't actually go, to be honest, but I have to say, all the videos and photos, the stuff that's been on YouTube, we've had drone footage and all sorts. And I have to say, it looked utterly fantastic. Now, tickets were sold out months ago, and I remember reading about it when it first came out. But I mean, it really was the hottest ticket in town, wasn't it, when it came out? So not that surprising that I wasn't able to get tickets. But it just looks as though everybody that went did have a really good time. But then I got thinking, and I was thinking about this week, how could we celebrate the Greatest Gathering in TradeSim World 5? And I was kind of thinking, well, we've got Derby in the game on the Midland Mainline. Now, I wasn't sure whether Litchurch Lane and the Alstom plant was actually represented in the game or not. So I had a look around Derby, and what I found is it's actually from the map view. The track is viewed from the, you can see the track from the map, but only like the kind of the entrance to it. But the actual layout of the place and the track within the yard is all completely modelled. So I thought, well, wait a minute, there's a lot of stuff available on TradeSim World. What about kind of doing our own version of the Greatest Gathering? And it's going to be, you know, kind of a chance to really have a look at all the various bits of UK stock that's been created for the game. Now, the second concern was, would I kind of blow the computer up, or would it completely just crash out on me, having absolutely loads of stock all around in the same place? Well, I have to say, to my delight, it worked absolutely fine and worked a treat. So that was all pretty decent. Now, I was originally going to do a Class 33 actually from Nottingham. I thought we'd do a kind of a rail tour thing, but I have to confess that the free roam mode at times is a little bit buggy, and I tried the 33. I tried loads of different pieces of stock, and it just doesn't work properly. And reading on the forums, I think there is a bit of an issue with the game. So that's something it'd be nice if Dovetail Games could fix. So it shouldn't take us too long at all to get to Derby. This initial stretch is kind of 80 miles an hour, but the station, this will be Attenborough, because between Derby and I can always remember it easier actually going from Derby to Nottingham. It's Spondon, Long Eaton, Attenborough, Nottingham. So it'll be Long Eaton next. Now, the one thing I will say is that, I mean, there's a great amount of stock in UK stock for TSW, and you know, stuff that I've built up over the years, and also it's a good chance to showcase some of the excellent stuff in the Creators Club. There's some brilliant reskins, some lovely liveries, so we'll have a look at that when we get there. I'm expecting it to be a bit stuttery when we approach Derby, so we'll see about that. The only Steam though I've got is the Flying Scotsman, so there obviously was quite a lot of Steam locos at the Greatest Gathering, but I don't have Peak Forest, I don't have Spirit, what's it called, Spirit of Steam, isn't it, the Crewe Liverpool route, but I couldn't quite bring myself to kind of shell out what would be something like nearly £60, wouldn't it, to get the 2 pieces of DLC just to have more Steam in it. But I did start off looking at some photos as well, and I was kind of thinking of trying to replicate the layout as best I could, but I kind of realised pretty quickly that was impossible, because you haven't kind of got a comprehensive photo where you can completely say without fail where different trains are. Got to get some brakes on because we've got this 30 mile an hour bit coming up. The brakes aren't always the best on the HST. Of course, by rights we should be doing one of those East Midlands Railway Meridian units to be representing the present day, but of course that isn't in the game yet. I mean, I'm certain that if we do get a Voyager, and I could be completely wrong, but I've just got a feeling we've got a Voyager coming for TSW6, then I'm sure somebody will do a reskin of that into East Midlands Railway colours. It'd be nice if they could actually get the proper sort of East Midlands Railway and the interior done for it. But I mean, we know they kind of used East Midlands Trains, which was East Midlands Railway's predecessor to begin with. Seems ridiculous, doesn't it, to be slowing down to 10 miles an hour. You can see another HST over there, can't you? That's obviously waiting for the road, and the impressive Radcliffe on Saw power station. Which I think is basically no longer active now in real life. the East Midlands is always has been just full of power stations. Well, that was our 10-mile-an-hour section, so we can speed up to 70 now. So we've got Long Eaton and Spondon before we get to Derby. We will go past the Etches Park depot as well, and the what certainly used to be the Technical and Research and Development Centre at Derby. So here's Long Eaton 158 there in situ with a service going to Nottingham, and then just behind it we have a HST. I've got a suspicion that's me that's caused that bit of a delay there with the timetable, because of our kind of faffing around a little bit at Nottingham, just getting the free roam into working. And of course the thing is, this is an additional service on top of the normal timetable, so I think I've completely messed up the clearance into Nottingham. You can do that with free roam a little bit. And it's pretty flat around these parts in the East Midlands, and you've kind of got the industrial and then the open countryside. So we have got sort of clearance for 115 coming up. I'm not quite sure if we'll get up to 125. I don't think we do on this section into Derby. I mean, it always used to be the case. I remember years ago when they started using the HSTs that there wasn't any 125-mile-an-hour sections on the Midland Mainline. I don't think that's the case now. Of course, part of the line, I mean, obviously the line from Bedford to St Pancras has been electrified for years, but the line kind of south of Leicester now going towards St Pancras has had electric wires put up. Weirdly, I don't think they're actually connecting it up to Leicester, so they're going to be using hybrid trains, so they'll replace those Meridian units at some point in the not too distant future. So we've not talked about what the greatest gathering of this Railway 200 thing was all about, really. I mean, most people know it's kind of a 200-year birthday celebration of the origins of the railways, and of course that takes you back to 1825, which was when the Stockton and Darlington Railway in the northeast, which is still a thing to this day, became the world's first public railway to operate steam trains anyway. Now, it wasn't initially carrying passengers by steam. They actually used to ferry them about for a couple of years or so by horses, but they did run steam from the very outset for freight traffic, notably coal, I think. But that's 200 years ago, and you think of all the advances in technology that has been done since then, and really fascinating to witness. And of course, that's the idea behind the stuff at the greatest gathering, and it's to show you from sort of steam through diesel to electric. And it would have been nice if we got a huge array of steam locos to look at. I mean, there's only a limited amount in the game anyway. But it's kind of really a celebration as well of how far TSW5 has come, and Train Sim World generally, because it'll give us a chance to pretty much have a look at everything that is available in Train Sim World and the UK content as things stand. I'm expecting it really to lurch a little bit in terms of frame rate because of the amount of stock we've got in Litchurch Lane, which is the Alstom plant incidentally, and still actively involved in building trains. Not sure if we don't think we get a view of it just yet. We're still a mile away, aren't we, at the moment? And it shouldn't be confused as well, Litchurch Lane works with the old Derby locomotive works, which essentially has been demolished. That was pretty much behind the station, but that's not a thing. I remember actually going to the Derby Loco Works open day with my father back in 1982. They used to alternate with Crew at one time. The Derby and Crew did for the open days, so I remember going to that and sitting in the cab of the APT. That was quite a thing. Now we'd better be just careful that we actually do get clearance into the platforms to begin with. Now we have got a red, haven't we? So we will put some brakes on. But the beauty of free roam is that if there's an issue with the actual platform itself that we're scheduled to get into, then we can alter it. You can't quite get the view of it at the moment, but we'll have a wander in a minute when we get into Derby itself. So we'll ask the signalman the question, but he's still telling us that we have a red. So we are scheduled to get into platform 5, aren't we? So shall we just have a look and see what's going on up at the station? Ah, there is something just departing, so there we go. I mean, it does have its faults, um, the free roam, undoubtedly, in TSW, but it's good that you can mix it in with the timetable, so you're not kind of forced into driving a train with no other AI stock round and about as well. So they could sort out one or two of the bugs. I'll be interested to know actually whether some of the issues I might have been encountering might have been something to do with actually trying to save it and reload. I'm not sure whether the game completely likes that. Okay, so that should do us. Tell you what, we'll keep the door shut. Let's just put it into neutral. Yeah, master key is now unlocked. The brakes are on, and let's go out and have a bit of a wander. We've got one or two HSTs round and about as well. Now, what I will do at this point actually is just turn the volume down slightly, because the one thing about all the trains in the yard is that to have switched all the engines off, I would have had to literally climbed in the into the cab of each unit and actually switch each one off manually. So that could have taken me all night. So I haven't quite got round to doing that. So I'm kind of doing this the way you probably shouldn't do, but we're walking across the tracks. I'm sure you wouldn't have been able to do this if you were visiting the real greatest gathering at the weekend, but that's the privilege of being a railway operative, as it were, or in this case being involved in the train game. So, first things to see then is the Flying Scotsman, and that looks pretty spectacular. We've got a rake here of Pullman carriages. Again, these are Mark II carriages actually that I've got off the Creators Club. There's some Mark I stuff as well. Now we've got a Pride 390. Always slightly tricky actually with, yeah, we can still climb up and get into the cab of these things. Pendolino for the moment. So we'll have a look over here. We'll try and do it reasonably systematically as best we can to show you what we've got. So that's the Pride liveried Pendolino. That's from Creators Club. And we've got a couple of wagons there. And here's a pair of Class 20s. From Tees Valley. They look pretty magnificent. Now over here, that's a D-stock 484 from the Isle of Wight route, and of course that's liveried into London Underground colours, as they were, of course, on the District line. Just a conventional 158, as you would have it in this part of the world. Of course, now they're, as I was mentioning, East Midlands Railway. So we'll have a look over here. It's kind of, there's that much, it's difficult to know where to start. So this is it's the 710, but it's of course made into a 345. So as used on the Elizabeth line. And then we've got another 710 here representing the Aventra on the Southwestern Railways. Now, of course, we don't have a Voyager in the game, and it looks rather clunky from the front, doesn't it? It doesn't really look the part, it has to be said. But that is literally an 801, but reliveried into cross-country colours. Looks quite weird, the shape of it from the front, actually. You can immediately tell. From a distance, it looks passable, and again, the application of the livery looks pretty nice. Now, this one's pretty special as well. This is the 465 that was named Chris Green. That's, of course, used to be the main man of Network Southeast back in the 80s. He was the one really responsible for the red, white and blue livery back in the 80s. We've got a 150 in Regional Railways colours. And we've got a Pacer in Greater Manchester colours. Another kind of look at the Network Southeast livery as well from the side, and they see Southeastern celebrating Railway 200. So we've got a Class 86, which of course is pretty new as far as Trainsim World is concerned, and again this is one off the Creators Club. Perhaps their Intercity logo could be a bit bigger, but I suspect it's kind of what's available, and it's difficult to get it just right, but that's representing the LSL one. And the same with the 87 as well, Royal Sovereign, which is 87002, I think, isn't it? And we've got here a 313 in British Rail blue livery. I think there's one or two possibilities on there actually. So I'll have a wander over here. We've got a 47 in Intercity ScotRail livery. Some lovely stuff on the Creators Club. You can see now a Western. I don't own the original West Somerset Railway Western, but this is the one from that Great Western diesel, but again reskinned into the maroon colours. And now a Peak, and of course they were very much the mainstay of the Midland Mainline. They were running services from Nottingham and Derby down to St Pancras, and in fact in the Midland Mainline pack you can actually drive a Peak on a rail tour run. So we've got a 37. That's one of those well, ROG, as they call it, and it tells you the name of it there quite clearly. I don't even need to remember that one, the Rail Operations Group, but that should look wrong somehow on an old 37 like that, but I love that. That looks really nice. And then we got a 47 in large logo livery. Probably better actually if we can see it from this side. Yeah, we can see the sunshine a bit better from there. The Brontes of Haworth. That's the proper old Yorkshire name. Wasn't that the one we saw? We saw that one, I think, on that run that we did on Northern Transpennine, didn't we, last week? So we've already seen the Elizabeth Line 345. And we've got a bit more to cover just yet. So we've got some stuff up here as well. And we've got a 37, and it's a West Highlands one with a Westie on the side. The Isle of Mull. Class 09 shunter. And a 37 now in rail freight colours. Now this is part of that lovely Class 66 pack that was done by Spratty Heath that we've been talking about in the last couple of weeks on the live streams. And there you have it, British Rail 1948 to 1997. So we've seen the Brontes of Haworth. And we have here, by the way, try and get a view from the front a little bit, but this is a 395, but in Eurostar livery. And this is a Class 101, but in the old original green colours as they were built in the 50s, and I think this is supposed to represent one from the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway. Oh, we've got some more 66s. And we've got 66714, 66714. Slight mistake on my part, I guess, there. The Colas rail freight. I have to say, again, that's one of those bizarre liveries. It should look wrong, but I quite like the look of. And we've got a Great Western Railway HST. Another look at the Eurostar as well. And I think that's about it. So hopefully not too much by way of UK DLC that we've not included. Oh, wait a minute. We've got a ScotRail 385. Actually, there's one or two bits we haven't looked at out here, isn't there? And we've got a Northern 323. Love the look of that, actually, the old. And again, we could have had a longer version of it rather than just a two-carriage one, but it's kind of trying to fit everything in. Plenty of wagons and coaches that we could have had, of course. Oh yes, actually, I've not quite finished yet, have I? What have we got out here? I've forgotten about this part of the yard. We've got a Thameslink 700. We've got a 350, complete with moving windscreen wipers. Oops. Sorry about that, folks. It's rather sandwiched in, this class 31. But we do have a 31. We've got a class 20 there, but we've got a kind of a better version, haven't we? Now, we've got a 158 here, but this is in very special colours. This is the Leven link colours, which were specially done for the Leven line when that was opened. And you get, well, you can see there, and we're just waiting for the proper class 158 timetable to go alongside it. And then we couldn't ignore Transport for Wales, could we, with a 153. Check the station screens. Well, I don't think it's going anywhere. And all of this was just literally just kind of going into the map and literally just planting all this stock down in free roam mode. And this was that's another look at the Pride 390. But again, it just shows what a absolute variety of stock we have in the game, and the lovely creations that you superb lot have done on Creators Club. Okay, well, I've turned the sound up again now, and we've got to, let's have a look and see if we can get this thing going as well. That'll be a nice way to end the video. I used to have a bit of a fear about driving the Flying Scotsman, but then I've kind of realised that it's reasonably straightforward. So we'll set a path into the platforms at Derby. So we'll, shall we do, into platform 4, I think. Getting on that Southampton forward. We're obviously driving a modern day train, then we can, I say modern day, as we're driving the Flying Scotsman in the modern day, we can set it up into AWS mode. The cops after a few miles an hour. We've only got 700 yards to go to the platforms at Derby. Plan is we're going to take our passengers home to Leicester. Let's get it into the station to begin with, into the platforms at Derby. And I thought perhaps, you know, because of the absence of much steam in our greatest gathering video, then you know, at least it's a chance to actually finish with a bit of steam. Yeah, we'll kind of have a look at on this side because of the platform being on this side. Do have to be conscious as well that the length of the train, so this was where the LNER driver got caught out a little bit, got herself stuck, because basically she was well inside the platform way before the signal, but because the train is jutting out, she was deemed to have passed the red signal. So it's a rather different set of circumstances, isn't it, than driving a modern diesel or electric train. Hope we're not causing too much disruption to the timetable with all of this. Well, I hope very much you've enjoyed today's video, and it's been a little recollection of the railways and the development of railways over the last 200 years. That's been amazing to see, but I think also it's showcased as well in this video just what's available in TrainSim World and what's been developed over the last few years. And of course that's going to ever increase with TrainSim World 6 just around the corner as well, so plenty of exciting things to come, I'm quite sure about that. Well, if you've enjoyed the video and you haven't done so before, I'd be really grateful if you would consider liking and subscribing. So for now, from Powerflower Trains and Planes, it's goodbye, but we'll leave you with just a few more images from the TrainSim World Greatest Gathering. Bye from me.